This episode of the Two Dads Podcast is powered by the Salina Moose Lodge 1473, your summer headquarters for live music, cold drinks, and legendary weekends. And here's what's coming up this week at the Lodge. We kick things off with Tiki Tuesday every Tuesday, 5 to 8 p.m. Easy vibes, good tunes, and the perfect warm-up weather for the weekend. And then on Thursday, Zach Rosenbeck takes the stage from 7 to 10 p.m. with a mix of country and classics. But Friday night's the big one. Lakefest fireworks light up the sky, and Britches Down bring the party from 7 to 11 p.m. This is one of the best nights of the summer at the Moose, so bring a chair, your crew, and get ready for a show both in the sky and on the stage. On Saturday, they're doubling down with Jordan Ross from 2 to 6 p.m., followed by 127 North Rockin' the House from 8 to midnight. And on Sunday, they're closing it down with the Baywatch Beach Party, baby, featuring the Marsha Brady Band from 4 to 8 p.m. Come for the music, stay for the sand, sun, and dad-approved dance moves. If you want to be a part of something different, something special, and something unique, join the Salina Moose Lodge today. Hello, and welcome to the Two Dads Podcast, episode number 23. Here to my left is Slick Willie. We've got actually somebody else we got to introduce here in a second, starting it off. But Slick Willie, how are you, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you, buddy?
I'm good. 23. LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Lauren's here with us in here, but I want to ask you guys both before we start going. LeBron James or Michael Jordan? A big debate. I'm sure people listening in the podcast, whether watching on YouTube or listening in the car. LeBron James or Michael Jordan, Bill?
I'm going to go just upset my buddy Ryan Cheesemesher. I'm going with MJ because I know he is a LeBron lover.
I'm going to go Michael Jordan as well. I'm a huge fan. Lauren, any opinions on this? I don't know if you watch basketball. We've thrown you into it.
Haven't seen MJ play, so gotta go for LeBron.
You've never watched The Last Dance?
I haven't. What's it on?
Now it's on Netflix,
I think it's you know what? Now we're going to open a bag of worms, okay? They swap stuff so much and so frequently. Like sometimes it's on Hulu, sometimes it's on like Paramount Plus, which, yeah, right, dude. Yeah, and then Apple has something, and I don't know, dude. Half the time I log into, and I'm sure people at home can relate. Half the time I log into something, my kids are like, I want to watch this thing. And I'm like, cool. And then we go to watch it, and it's like, oh, this is actually available on another platform.
We just Google it. We Google, how do you watch, this show for free?
How to trade for free?
Well, like for a subscription, if you have a subscription, and it comes up and it's like it's free on Paramount. Cool. I have Paramount, so I'm just gonna watch it on there.
Oh,
life hack.
Like for more life hack, we should start a channel for life hack. Anyway, Lauren, thanks for being here. I know you came on. So what I really like here, you came on. You said I want to riff, and I like it when guests want to come up and riff because we would like to change it up. I mean, for me, we heard in the Brandon episode, on episode 21, where he came on and stayed the whole time, and I thought it was fun. I don't want it to be so rigid, and when we have a guest like yourself who have the ability to come on and chat, like it's cool. What do you think of the podcast studio? How you feeling today?
Impressive. This place is like a little layer of perfection. I'm a Two Dads super fan. I've listened to every episode, so being in here is pretty sweet.
You are a Two Dads super fan. I'll be honest with listeners. A lot of the stuff we do, I bounce ideas off of you.
Yeah.
And I talked about a couple episodes ago how petty I was because you had done a reel for the Two Dads food truck, and I was like, this motherfucker, I'm like Jordan in The Last Dance. You haven't seen it, but he's pretty petty. You had mentioned it, Bill. He came up with like scenarios that as an athlete like needed to inspire him.
Yeah, like he would just create personas in his head that the guy he's guarding just something negative he would tell him that he's doing, so he would go off for like 40 on him. Like just,
he had a story about Rick Carlisle, right? He went to dinner. Okay, Lauren, you'll just have to track with us for a second. We'll jump into this. We're just having a fun little tangent here. He would. I'll land this plane, I promise. He said that Rick Carlisle like bodied him at dinner. Like he said hi to him or something the day before game 1 or 2 or something like that when they were going to go play him. It was the Jazz, and he was like, "Hey, how's it going?" He said Rick Carlisle blew him off. And that inspired him to drop like 40 that night and stuff. And then by the end of The Last Dance, though, it was kind of freaky. He was like, yeah, I don't even know that story's real. Like, okay. I guess that's a question, because we're going to jump into this. For those that are listening right now, this is a creator episode. Okay, I'm a creator. Lauren's a digital creator. She obviously can explain herself. I'll give you some background about this, but this is a creator episode. I want to ask you as a creator, before I jump into your background and we talk about this and get to the history of you, like, is there anything that inspires you as a creator? Like, do you do it? See, sometimes, as I said before, I came from a very petty place. You made a reel, and I was like, this motherfucker, I'm going to go in, I'm going to show him. I actually took a masterclass because of you. I paid like multiple thousands of dollars to train under Viral Video Club. It's very fantastic. No free shout-outs. But I trained under a very good and talented like boot camp for this 6 weeks. But it was because of you. It was like sort of my Jordan moment. When you're a creator, before we kick this off, is there anything that inspires? Like, does it come from a good place or does it come from a petty place?
It comes from good, more of like a delusion of like, can I bring this idea to life?
Okay. I mean, that's same. But does it come from like, can I bring this idea to life to prove someone wrong? Or are you doing it like because you want like creationism?
Creationism, definitely driven by money. See like how new ways to make money is always in the back of my mind.
That's kind of where we're at too. I mean, Bill, wouldn't you say the same thing?
Yeah, I mean, that's, where, we don't make much money off these hats where we drop the merch. Mitch is wearing them.
Shout out to the Bill Ray. I didn't even bring up the hats. I'm wearing it. You're wearing it. We just got one for Lauren. Tell us about, buddy, tell us about the hats.
Yeah, so first launch of our new merch.
Hold on a second. I love this soft little yeah.
Well, I mean, you're out there in right field sometimes, and I just got to play center field and, give you your space.
Hold on.
Center field has
I'm going on a
priority,
tangent. I'm sorry, listeners, right now. The guy that you talked about, shortstop, that you moved at McKibbe?
Yeah, McKibben.
He was at the truck today.
Was he really?
Yes, he did. He came to Salina Insurance. I think he's like, how's it going? Where's Bill Ray? And I was like, well, that's the joke, kid. Don't you know he doesn't work here?
Yeah.
And he's like, well, he talked about me in the last podcast. I'm like, who did he talk about? Are you the shortstop kid who played center field? He goes, yup.
Shout out Kibby, though. No, he was a great athlete, good kid. So thanks for listening, Kibby, and thanks for stopping by the truck today. So, we had an event today, Salina Insurance. That was great. About an hour and a half, served 100 pieces of chicken, 100 orders, I should say. So Mitch and Rich really did a good job there. We've really found out how to optimize, the daily manufacturing when we only have 2 people. So that was a huge win. So good job, Mitch, Rich, everybody involved. But yeah,
thanks, Bill. I appreciate that, Bill.
I heard him on the stream the other week when you guys were there, and he was like, "Nice." Haley and Riker were there. I was working, and he was like, "Nice to see his wife and son shows, but he doesn't show."
Okay. Bill's catching strays via digital.
It's noon, Rich. I'm working, man. But no, yeah. So we got the hats. It's been a long time coming. We wanted to get the hats going. It was easy to do the hats as opposed to shirts, right? No inventory, anything like that. So that was fun. Everybody's commenting on the upside down, backwards, two dads thing.
I had people that thought that it was just my phone was like, how you like record with like the selfie mode? They're like, oh, I just thought it was backward because of that.
A mirror.
Yeah.
Like a mirror. Exactly, Lauren. Exactly.
No. So it's a trend. It's something that we like it. It's something different. And, kind of like you said, you had a really good analogy for it just with the two dads doing things different. We're doing things backwards. We're trying to innovate a little bit and do things that are different. But I bring it all the way back to, I did the hats, kind of designed the hats. Back to your original point with the "Hey, how are you" shirt. I was like, all right, let's do a black or a gray or something real calm. You're like, no, dude, yellow. Like bright yellow, like pull eyes to you. Like you want people to notice you. So when I thought about the backwards hat, I've seen people do double takes, like trying to read it, like, what is that, right? So like it does draw attention to you. So I've learned a lot from you in schemes of that. And then the hat, I love the hat, actually. It was the one that Lee brought for my wife from Caddy's. It's the same style. It's different color. But we brought that one, and I was like, I just really liked that hat. So I was like, let's do that with the red. It matches perfectly. And we've sold, as of today, this is Wednesday when you hear it next Tuesday. We released it on Tuesday. 54 hats in the first 36 hours-ish. So it's been pretty successful. So we've been able to make $300 donations, and you can explain those because I forget them off the top of my head.
Yeah, that's really cool. One of the things we said on our first merch drop was like, we want to learn from Brandon. We want to enact what we learned on the podcast. And one of the things that we did was like, let's just give it all away. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't want to sound like egotistical, but like $300 isn't going to swing the needle. But it can swing the needle in these causes that really matter around Mercer County. So we just threw a poll out to people, and we're like, hey, who needs the money? Because hopefully we generate something. I expected to sell like 20 hats. It's not like it's sort of an insecurity, to be honest with you. Like, I know we have a good brand, and I know we're working on it, but to be transparent with everybody, you still worry. And I think that's because it comes from a place of caring about your brand. Like, this is, and we'll get into it later, like, this is a baby for me. Like, this is something that Bill and I love every day. Lauren, I'm sure Hot and Healthyish and Caddies, we're going to jump into your story here shortly. But, I cared so much that you almost like lowball it. But I will say, I'm really proud of what the community has done to band together. $300, like you said, Bill, nothing to like shy away from. It's a really good number. We donated to Salina football, which was cool. Somebody reached out and said the football program can always use money. They need equipment. We also had Coldwater Cheer reach out. They're like, hey, as much as there's a glit and a glamour to cheerleading, like, you know, how it is, but they need money. They don't have a lot of support. So we donated that. And then the last we did the Mercer County Animal, I can't think of what it is, Animal Protection League or something like that. It's like basically like it's for people that can't afford their bills for animals or to help animals or, you know, whatever they need to do for it. But it was for animals in Mercer County. And that was cool. We just lost Charlie a couple weeks ago. I talked about it on the story, my dog. So it hit close to home, but I love that we can make an impact with merch. Merch doesn't have to be a revenue stream. We come from sort of a retail where we sell chicken, and we have other avenues like the podcast and sponsorships. So for me, having learned in my 20s how to be a better person through trial and error, and then on top of that, the lessons we learn in podcasts, like episode 21, where Brandon's like, you know, with Mr. Beast, he just gave it all away. And it created this sort of leverage that you had and respect. And like I said, I'm a God-fearing man. And the last thing I'll say is, like, every time I've given it back, we've gotten it tenfold. So I'm excited about that.
Two things quick.
Yes, please.
You cut me off all the time, so I'm going to cut you off
please
one time.
Yeah, that's right. It's my brain.
Shout out Nathan Wilker and Stay Tuned Barbecue, though. He's the one who gave us the idea for the dog shelter.
Right.
He basically came to us, said, hey, I'm going to donate $100. If you guys donate $100, he'll match it. So really, we, you know, collectively, you know, $200 to, you know, the dogs to help take care of them. And then same thing, you know, excited to see the hats roll around, $2 off every order when you wear your hat to the food truck event when you're wearing it. So I'm excited to see those pour in once they're delivered and to see how many people are going to wear them to show up with the hats.
Have
just
you
to
considered
get $2
that, Lauren?
off.
Like, have you considered doing something like that? I know. How about this? As a creator, having other creators in town, sort of like you draw inspiration. I drew from the reel, and now I do better reels because of it. Have you like what goes into your merch drops? Because we love Caddy's merch. I'll be honest with you. Lee brought them, and we were smitten. But like, how do you come up with your launch other than just like, is it mostly logo stuff, or like what goes in? Do you handle the merch? Like, where does it come from?
When we actually make it ourselves too. We have a screen printing and embroidery business out of our back garage. So that's a whole nother thing. But the merch, like, there's room for improvement for sure. Like, it just doesn't get as much time as I want it to. But if I do see an idea somewhere, like, I'll spin it. Like, we just launched one that is our top selling margarita, the sandbag.
Oh yeah, I saw that one.
Has like a spicy margarita on it. So I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah, it's fun. I mean, and sometimes it just takes other people pushing it. And that's one of the things I want to get into today is, like, especially picking your brain. It's tough to even tell how much you've probably inspired other businesses to kind of do things differently. Like, we do it all the time. I mean, I can tell you that when we started this venture, Bill Ray, there was like one food truck. And it was Kerry Roberts Sr., and he's coming out with Seatown Wings. And now, like, they had something at the fair the other day that was like a food truck rally that I didn't even know. Berkey was like, did you know there's a food truck? I was like, I had no idea. And I saw like 9 food trucks. I was like, holy crap. So they're definitely coming, and sometimes it takes some inspiration. But speaking of, everybody sort of wants to be a creator these days. I think not in creationism as like a solo artist, but I think whether you're running a personal brand, a professional brand, like you have a business, one of the things I've noticed that coming back to Mercer County is like people don't know how to sort of market. You know, it's intimidating. Like, where do you start? What do you post? Like, how do you build a brand without selling your soul or losing your mind? And today we're having Lauren here. And one of the things that I want to get into with you and be able to riff is like, you've built Hot and Healthyish, right? And you can jump into that. We'll start with your backstory first. She's got sort of a personalized brand for ladies around town, around the community, and maybe some men too, but it's a really cool brand. And then on top of that, you run Caddies. And if you guys remember, we had Lee on here, right? And Lee did his thing and told us for like the engineering side of Caddies. Like, yeah, I really like the pipes. You're like, okay, okay. There's a lot more that goes into the golf simulator bay besides like how you do beer taps. But in what I'm saying is like, you're building sort of twofold, the personal side and the professional side. And I think people can learn something from you while you're here. So if you're a creator, this episode's for you, whether you're a small business, whether you're a big business, or you're just looking to market better. I want to bring you on, Lauren, because you've done this in a small town at a high level, and I think it's time that we teach people how to get digital, especially me being in town and you being in town. So, you know, I'm excited to have you here today. Bill, you had some questions too. I know you wanted to kick it off with, you know, the beginning.
Yeah, I think the beginning is important because I think everybody might focus on, you know, Caddies now or Hot and Healthy now, Healthyish, sorry. That's now. But I know you started a brand straight out of maybe in high school or early college years, Almighty All One, right? Am I saying that right? So how did it start from the beginning, right? Like, how did you think you wanted to become an entrepreneur? And just kind of tell us a little bit about yourself and the journey of how you began.
Yeah. So I guess to back it up to college, there was a couple things in my mind that helped me make my decision. And number one is I knew I wanted to go into business just because it allowed, flexibility of being able to do a bunch of different things. So with that, in high school, they have you do like all those job shadows. And every business person that I shadowed was not working in the degree that they went to college for. So that kind of lit up a little thing in my head of like, okay, let's just get some paper and go from there. The other thing was I knew I was going to be paying for my own college. So I'm like, how can we do this as cheap as possible? So
I'm going to yell at your dad next time, Reggie.
Yeah,
Come on, man.
You want to invest in her business,
back.
but
He's invested in like
good.
everything.
Yeah,
since.
he has.
That's fair.
So I end up, in a long story short way, at Sinclair on a volleyball scholarship. And there were some local girls that I lived with there, so it was an awesome time. And I could only get an associate's degree from Sinclair, so I got that in business administration. Mm-hmm. So that's kind of where I started things. And then again, if you graduated from Sinclair, you could get a scholarship at Wright State. So I used that scholarship and moved home and ended up getting a degree from the Lake campus for my 4-year bachelor's.
Shout out Lakers.
Yeah.
I was a Laker too. I
Same.
went to study to be a police officer. I'm not kidding.
my gosh.
I'm glad
I got
that didn't work out.
okay. Look, Bill, you crushed me on the band thing.
Mitch is like, I just pulled over this guy. Check this out. Have you had 2 dads? Okay, I'm going to let you slide.
100%.
Yeah.
Just running the chicken truck, like saying, "I'll give you no speeding ticket if you go take this coupon. You go buy 2 dads." No,
Yeah.
I was. Here's a funny story. I got a criminal justice degree. They gave me 2-year scholarship to go to the Lake campus, and I did everything right. And then the next year they want to like keep the momentum from the scholarship, and they want to take a group picture. And I forgot to show. I think I got like, I don't know. I might have got high and like didn't wake up the next day. And anyway, I lost a scholarship. So then I transferred to Wright State Dayton, and then the rest is history. But Lauren, you talk to me about, we talk on walks. I call Lauren, I think creators in the area, like I draw from it. I think you what you're doing is super cool, and I can't wait to dig more into this so people are listening. Like there's a lot more to go to this story. But there was a line you told me, you go work for the best and you learn everything. And that's kind of what you just said, but a lot of people say they want it, but a few people actually move across the country to live out of their car and go for it. But do you think that talk to us about, like, why did you want to go learn from the best? What can you take away from them? Like, what did, like, this is sort of advice for you guys listening. Like, what did you gain from that?
Yeah, I guess that line did come to me, like, just because when you're in business, like I have my first thing going and I have not a clue what I'm doing. Just created a Shopify store and hope for the best. So I was just kind of trying to find a mentor, essentially. And I found that through listening to all these business self-development podcasts, just trying to get information from them. And one line that stood out to my head was go and like work for the best person, no matter what it takes, work for free, go learn, get skills, and then you'll be so much more valuable at whatever job you want to get from there.
Yeah, it's the same thing that we did at Lamp Apparel. I mean, Brandon talked about it in episode 21. Like, I went and worked for him for free because he had a cool thing that I kind of wanted to be a part of, and I had a skill set, not really polished, kind of like you're saying. Like, I didn't really know what I couldn't have told you that I wanted to work for Mr. Beast and be like a social media guru for him, right? Like, it was more so like I kind of had a gut feel. You know, I kind of wanted to do that, and so working for free is a huge part. Let me ask you a question. I don't want to go too far into the now, but I think it's kind of pertinent just off the cuff. Like, did you want to mentor because it felt safe, and that was like sort of like a easy way to bridge this gap of getting over the fear of starting a business? Like, why did you want to mentor so bad? Because I went through it too. I was like, I need a mentor. I need to attach myself to this. I'm your project, and it's like, they didn't even want that. They're like, yeah, I'll give you some advice, but like, dude, you got to do you.
Yeah, I mean, it's just such a world of unknown that you just want somebody to like kind of bounce ideas off or kind of steer you one way or the other.
I think it's important though. You're right. I think that we've all been successful in what we've done in our life, and we can all say we've had good mentors, right? Somebody out there has been good for you. But one of the best things that ever projected me when I first became a plant manager was literally just, I got thrown into it, right? Like, tough shit, get out there, figure it out. Like, I wasn't ready for it, and I was transparent about that, but I wasn't going to turn down the opportunity. And then you get out there, and it's like, I don't know what the hell I'm doing. I don't know what a P&L is. I don't know how to do this. But then you go, you do it your first time right, you mess up, and you get a little good. Then the second time, you get a lot better. And then by the third time, you're really catching the flow. And I think it goes back to, like, nobody actually knows what they're doing when they start. Like, genuinely, like they don't.
Dude, Two Dads was not anything before this. It was just like, I like chicken tenders.
Yeah, it just takes experience and relentless effort. And as you continue to get better, you just see what else you can learn, right? Then you get hungry and nothing's really scary. Like, I didn't know anything about chicken when I joined this. I didn't know anything about a podcast. And look where we're at now, right? So I'll figure it out.
At what point did you, like, you're at the Lake campus, okay? You're trying to, like, you're using mentorship to gain experience and wisdom, which is, I think even people listening right now would be sort of after. Like, I think everybody wants cheap and free wisdom, right? And they get that through other people's experiences of failure and success. Keep us going here on your arc, sort of character arc. You're at the Lake campus. You're doing some internships. You said, go work for the best and learn everything. You're sort of in that process of learning everything. Where do you go from here? Because I know your story takes some crazy turns.
It definitely does. So I do kind of find, like, through Almighty One that I do love branding, social media, and doing it in, like, a really modern way. And of course, I kind of looked around, like, hey, if I were to do this back home, like, there's so limited options. But one of the mentors that I would listen to all the time was living in Austin. And she was an author, and she had a personal brand, and she spoke on stages and had coaching and clothing lines and books and all these things. So she was kind of the one that I set my mind on, and she was huge about manifestation.
Oh, you know me.
She would talk about, and she learned that from Tony Robbins. She said he was her mentor. And she said, I've used this to speak on the biggest stages, fly first class, XYZ. So I was like, well, it seems like it's a free thing to try. Let's see if I can use that to get a job at your company. So it was kind of the next step.
So wait, you go to Austin, or did you move to Austin? I'm trying to piece this together.
So this was about 6 months before I graduated college.
Okay.
And that internship that I was at, I was working for somebody in accounting who was on maternity leave.
Did you love accounting?
So that was going to end.
Seems so not you. You're like in business management. You're like, yeah. I feel like that's everybody around here. Oh, you're you're in business management. You'll be an accountant.
Yeah. No, I am, like, absolutely despise numbers, but I didn't mind the internship. You, like, find your rhythm with the numbers and go from there.
Sure.
So I guess, yeah, they're in Austin. I start applying for every job that they post, and I tailor my resume to make it seem like I can, fill that spot.
Fake it till you make it?
Yep.
Okay.
And of course I hear absolutely nothing. 3 or 4 times. So I'm like, okay, well, we'll see. Yeah. Then my friends are, like, lining up these amazing jobs for post-college, and I'm sitting there like, I have no idea what I'm going to do next. And then I'm like, you know what? There's got to be a way. I've never even been to Austin. Let's go travel there. I asked Lee to go with me, and we get an Airbnb. And when we get there, it was kind of awkward at first. The host, like, lived in the house.
That was weird for me too. The first time I did Airbnb and, like, lived in, like, I rented and there was, like, a basement portion of, like, they're up. You can hear them walking. It's a little weird, and it's a little different than Bill's Airbnb experience he had a couple weeks ago with
that one was miserable. But in fairness, you're wearing a Green Bay shirt. Rob and I's first Airbnb experience was a Saints-Packers game. Same thing. We get to this house, and Haley's freaking out. You're staying in some lady's basement?
Yeah, what a weird concept.
We didn't know they were sleeping upstairs. We thought we had the house.
Sure, me too. First
then
time
we
I did
get there, and
thing.
she's like, you come through the garage door. The code's 1, 2, 3, 4, and you just take the steps down. Like, you can't come in through that door right there. You got to go downstairs. And I'm like,
it's like, what do they call
what's stopping me from just walking in your house? Like, I mean, we're not going to. So we go downstairs. Their first Airbnb experience. She texts us on the app and says, what do you guys like to drink? We're like 24, 25. And vodka Red Bull. There was literally a bottle of vodka and a case of Red Bull in the fridge, and she would bring us down muffins in the morning. So they live, like, they tailgate, right? So, like, we're going to the Packers tailgate. Do you guys want to go?
No, this is in Wisconsin.
This is at Green Bay.
Gotcha.
$20. I'm like, yeah, sure. You just go there. She's like, it's $20. You can, they grill hot dogs and you drink beer, whatever. We go there. Bam. It is like right outside the stadium. It's her mom's house.
Jeez.
And it looks like kind of like a dumpy house.
Yeah, that's what they don't sell.
It's nothing crazy, but the lot itself's worth like $1.1 million.
Easily.
Just the lot. The house is probably like $110,000. So it was very funny that you say that with Airbnb, and then you're wearing a Green Bay shirt.
What do they call those brothels? Hostels. Whoops.
Hey Tasha, don't let Mitch go overseas.
Hey baby, I got booked us a brothel. What's the matter? I got booked you to brothel. This ad break is powered by the American Cornhole Association. Let me ask you something. Are you still tossing around those floppy duck cloth bags that soak up water like a sponge? One rain shower and they're basically useless. Might as well be throwing around wet socks. Well, it's time for an upgrade. The ACA's performance bags are built for real play, rain or shine, day or night, backyard or big stage. If you're looking for more control of the board, the Synergy series has a dual-sided bag with fast and slow fabric, so every toss feels like you mean it. If you're playing through rain, like a stubborn dad who refuses to cancel game night, grab the Dry Tech bags, fully waterproof and built to battle the elements. And if you want to keep the game going on after dark, the Lumitech bags in the NXT line actually glow. That's right, glowing bags for people who are into science and tailgating, apparently. They've got thousands of designs, and every bag is made to the official ACA specs, so you can play like a pro even if your knees say otherwise. Head to playcornhole.org and use code 2dads at checkout for up to 15% off your order. It's American Cornhole, built right, played hard, dad approved. Whether it's a hostel or a brothel, it's fine. No judgments here. Talk to me about your host experience, because I know that led to something bigger.
Yes. So they were actually kind of like yours. They gave us alcohol, told us, everything to do.
Kidnapped you.
Took us to the barbecue joint, like everything. We just became super good friends with them throughout the whole weekend that we were there. And I just fell in love with the city. It was amazing. And kind of on the last day, I asked him, I'm like, so what do I have to do to get a job here? Because I just love it. And he's like, well, this thing's happening now in Austin where they're getting a massive influx of people that they don't want to hire people that don't live here. So on your next resume, just use our address and see what happens.
Shout out them.
Dude,
and it obviously worked, right?
What a tip. So what happened then?
Came back, and eventually they launched an internship, and I was overqualified for it. It was perfect. Send it off, and didn't hear anything for a while, and all of a sudden I got an email back that I could have an interview with them. So I took a phone interview actually in the airport, and we were going to go to Florida after college was out. And they're like, okay, great. You'll hear back from us in 3 days. Go to Florida, great time. Come back and hear nothing. So
hold on. I've got to sound somewhere. Let's go. What do we get?
You got it right.
Well, they got names on them. I didn't know I could do that. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. So I'm obviously down in the dumps. I'm like, I clearly did not get this job. They're just waiting on to call me to tell me I didn't get it. So anyway.
I'm still laughing at the trombone. Bill's like, Phil, your face when you looked at me, you actually got it right.
We're 23 episodes in, there's only 8 buttons.
I literally was taking a second to even push it. I'm so sorry, Florence.
I love the sound effects.
Oh gosh. Okay, so you don't hear anything back. Okay, let's get this back on track, Bill Ray.
We're down in the dumps. Still got the business going. I'm like, let's just focus on this, brainstorm, where we're going to send the next resume. I go to the Bremen coffee shop to do that. And as I'm leaving, I get a phone call, and it's from them. And they said, hey, is this Lauren? Yeah. Just wanted to call back about your interview. We noticed actually that you have applied a couple times, and we like how intentional you were with tailoring the resume to the position, and we want to bring you on as our intern. Do you accept the job? And I said, of course. And they're like, okay, great. We'll see you at 9 a.m. on Monday. And it's Friday afternoon.
Oh my! Well, you did tell them that the address is
down the road, technically.
Yeah. Well, you're only a 10-minute drive. No big deal.
So I Googled then how long it takes to drive to Austin, and it's like 20 hours. So I'm like, okay, better get home and start packing the car up. I call Lee, like he knew I had applied for this job, and he's like,
so
all right.
hold on, I'm Lee on the phone. I'll play Lee, you play you. Okay.
Yep.
Ring, 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 ring. You're on the phone. I'm Lee.
Hey,
hey baby.
So you're
What's
not
up?
gonna believe this.
Okay.
I just got the internship.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah, I'm like really, really excited about it. But they said we will see you Monday at 9 a.m.
Okay.
I don't think he's ever.
He was so chill on the podcast.
Yeah, he goes, okay, let's look at flights. I'll get a one-way ticket home, and we'll start driving tomorrow morning.
God bless you, Lee. He's St. Rose baseball. We love him for that.
That's a flyer.
Classic flyer mentality.
You can tell Goodwin had an influence on him.
Huge influence. But so you get this internship. Okay. It's on Monday. What happens next? You start driving, you get a one-way ticket. Like, what's going on?
Yep. We start driving down, and I was like, I need to figure out where to stay. So we call up the Airbnb host and say, hey man, we're on our way down. Do you have a room open? And obviously he wanted to keep booking his rooms out, but he's like, no, just come down here, live with me. You know, you can sleep on my couch and we'll make this work. So
I don't know if that's weird or awesome. You know what I mean? Like just this random
she's
guy.
Comfortable with the guy, right?
I get it, but it was a weekend,
and,
right?
Okay,
so,
he was engaged, and so I was really good friends with the fiance then at that point from after the weekend too.
So I mean, that's.
I get it. Yeah. Shout out him, just good people.
So wait, did you couch crash for a while doing this internship? Tie this back.
Yeah.
So you get this internship. Do you make it to Monday? You make it in town? Like
Yep. Get into the place. Like I have my clothes and everything is just in the trunk of my car because there's still other random people living in the Airbnb. But eventually it works out where I end up being in an apartment with the fiance because they technically like didn't want to live together until they were married. So then we became roommates.
This is a wild story.
Stars align.
It does. So tell me about how does Lauren develop into a creator from this? You know what I mean? I want to make sure we're landing the plane though. Like, so you do this internship, speed me up a little bit. Like you're in Austin and you just now are in Texas. You moved there and you live on their couch for a while, which is insane. You're still wanting your own aspirations at this point, right? Like I know you're doing an internship and you're just looking, you're drawing on something. Like that's the same thing we talked about Michael Jordan in the beginning. Like you're drawing on some kind of moment, right? Whether it's practical or sort of, in your case, a little impractical, like you just get in a car and now you live on this engaged guy's couch. Like that's cool, but like get me up to the process. Where is Lauren, the creator, starting to build? Like where are you starting to kind of form your identity that maybe is this job for you? It's not for you. Like how are we kind of landing this plane?
Yeah, I went there and just mind got exploded by everything that was going on because I saw a massive team of people all working together to build one influencer's platform.
Okay, so tell me about the job. I guess let me backtrack. So one of the things I didn't do a good enough job here is like, what was the job? Like I think people like you moved to Austin, you got this job, you're applying to this company. Like what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, so I came on as the marketing intern, and then I got assigned to the influencer's Facebook account. So I was ghostwriting, planning her feed, you know, dropping the links to everything that
Friend
she had.
DNA. Can you talk about what this influences, or is there like an NDA here?
I don't really feel like I should talk
Okay,
about
that's
it.
fair. All right. But it's a big influencer?
Yes.
Massive.
Like #1 female speaker at the time.
Oh, speaker. Okay, because I
Podcast,
worked with
like-
some popular, but they were box of rocks in the brain, so not that probably not the same person.
And in like the personal development space too.
Okay,
Like,
okay, we'll leave it
big
there.
time, like New York Times,
the Tony
best-selling
Robbins of
author.
women. Yeah, okay.
Yes,
gotcha.
that's exactly.
So Mel Robbins.
It's
Not quite.
okay. Hey, nice though.
I do like her though.
Yeah, she's good.
Yeah.
So I got a question for that. You know, internships, I've worked in manufacturing where some are paid, some are unpaid. Was this a paid or unpaid position?
Yeah, it was a paid position, and it ended up turning into a full-time job after it. So that was great. And at that point, we were like, how do we get Lee down here now?
Yeah, he talked about that a little bit on the podcast. He was flying like nonstop. I mean, he must have loved you. Because, I mean, that's a labor of love. I was doing the same thing with Denver with Tasha. Like, bro, I was like, we talk about my meditation and like talking about her. But the other side of the meditation, it's a cute story. If you listen to the Amber Evers episode, it's still a lot of back and forth travel to Denver and back and there and back and back. So kudos to Lee for doing that. I know what that's all about.
I drove all the way to Anna to see Haley.
Oh, my God.
Like, it's 20 minutes each way.
Each way. I can't believe it. How could you afford the gas?
It was tough.
It is tough. I mean, you didn't give up on her in Rikers here as a result, so shout out. So you're in this internship, turns into a full-time job. Mm-hmm. Talk to me about leaving. Because I think it's cool that you've I think everyone's gathered. You've gained some experience from this. You work for a top influencer, similar to what I was doing in Columbus, right? Mm-hmm. And then boom. Like, what happens that made you prompt to move back to Mercer County, Ohio? Like, why are you here?
Yeah. It was kind of just like another like turning point of like, God, tell us what to do. Every night we were, FaceTiming, getting the resumes out for Lee.
Did you guys FaceTime sleep together?
No.
Oh, I did that. I know that's corny, but we would FaceTime to fall asleep. You're so much less pathetic than me.
He was like...
I'm a romantic.
It's an hour difference, too, and he worked, like, super early in the morning, so he was always out, like, way before me. But, yeah, we were sending out resumes after resumes, and his background is in manufacturing, and they just don't have that down there. They didn't have Tesla or anything at the time.
I get you.
So we're like, okay, what do we do? Like, make the sign... like very clear, because he has a house back home too. Amazing job. We knew eventually we're coming back home. So what's our next step? Like, it would have been great to live in Austin. Then like, meanwhile, while I'm working too, like I'm loving it. Like the job is just an absolute dream, but like kind of fighting in the back of my head of like, there's just this voice that's saying like, this just isn't it. Like you're supposed to do your own thing.
Wow.
Which was good because eventually I started seeing people disappear from the office. It's getting towards December, and then I get pulled into the office and they're like, hey, budget cuts, like, sorry, your job's gone. I mean, which looking back made sense because I was like the newest hire. Obviously, I'm going to be the first fire.
I don't agree with that. You're a manufacturing guy, Bill.
It's 90%. She's right, 90%
Is it really? Yeah. I thought, why would you hire the new hire? You would fire the guy that's got like a heavier weight on the salary, right? Like what?
That's
non-unionized. Give me the non-unionized.
That's the 10%. The 10% is, hey, you got Lauren, who's this young person who's getting paid less than your 10-year vet, right? They're getting paid more. But there's a lot of things that go into it, really. I mean, if you've never done a layoff, and I've done it before, you got to look at a lot of protected classes, right? I mean, Lauren was a female. I don't know if everybody was females that got let go, but
a lot of them.
Yeah, so that goes into it, right? If you're laying off 5 females and you keep 1 male, guess what? You're getting a lawsuit for that one. So you got to go by some sort of just strict way you do it, and you just got to follow the process. So if they said bottom up seniority, it didn't matter if you were, black, a female, white, any protected class. That's how you do it. It's just the cleanest way usually. Other than that, you got to have some sort of criteria to say, hey, we're keeping Lauren. She's awesome. Mitch is the 10-year guy. He sucks. Or he's got, some sort of thing on his file for, hey, girls are complaining that he's getting touchy or feely, so we're letting you go because of that. No, I'm just... No, Tasha, that's not real. But like that is what it is you have to have a case because everybody's so happy nowadays.
Yeah.
And, being a female, she's a protected class. You and I are the easy guys to fire because we're under 40 males.
Yeah, that makes sense. What's one of the key takeaways that you took away from, like, all right, you got fired, like the bummer. Well, a lot of people relate to being fired, right? Like elephant in the room. What did you learn from that creator? Did you learn more that it was about consistency than creativity, or is it more creativity than consistent? Like, what was your key takeaway from the job? I know it's a bummer to lose it, but like, what did you learn?
I learned that, I need to stop putting so much pressure on myself as one person trying to build a business when she had 50 employees building hers. And she was consistent on every platform and had people help her do that. But the biggest thing that stuck out to me from her was she was creating an online coaching program where she would set the studio up, record, a lesson, post it out online, and it just lived there. And that is something that people could continuously pay for and take the course at their own speed. And she's getting paid in her sleep.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, the passive revenue is certainly something that I think about, and it's something that somebody can take away as they're listening too. One of the things Bill and I were working on is like, what's the next venture? And can we do it because there's time involved? Time is really the constraint. If you're a creator, one of the things you'll run into is that time will always be a constraint. Yeah, you might have the talent. Yeah, you might have a consistency. What was the 3 things you said you can have, Bill? Speed,
price, and quality.
Okay.
You can have, you got to have one. Like, let's just say Two Dads, right? I'm going to put our qualities up above anything. We're the best chicken sandwich and fries in the area.
Right.
But we're also very quick at it. We're not the cheapest, right? It's $13 to $15 for a meal, which I don't think is expensive, but we're not the cheapest.
Right.
It's not $8 that you can get at a fair sometimes. But for a food truck, and I keep going back and say I just stop at any food truck and try to order something just to see what the processes are. We're still faster and we're cooking chicken. Like that's the key is like, the whole process and the secret and the sauce. But yeah, we try to be the best quality no matter what. If we're a little slower, fine, but we want to have the best quality. And we heard somebody today say that today as well. Said the fries were the best fries I've ever had.
We've been, it's quality improvement. It's process improvement. Shout out to Berkey. He's still back in the truck though. So if you guys are curious, he's still here. That's one of the things I talk about though too is like, we're interested in passive revenue, but one of the things that goes into it is that consistency. One of the things I learned as a creative, and when I got to Logan Paul or I got to Mr. Beast, I learned that they are brilliant at what they do, but they are also brilliantly consistent. I think that consistency, whether she has 50 businesses like you said or not, she's still consistently channeling that effort equally across the board. It's consistent posting. It's consistent. And one of the things that people are listening to, if you're going to take away a key metric here, like you're just listening and you're kind of like, I got this little thing I'm doing, blah, 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 or I'm considering doing it, or maybe you're not quite living out of an Airbnb on a couch like Lauren, is like one of the big takeaways is consistency. You have to post frequently and post often. And one of the things I think about, and builds a really good balance to that too, is like, don't overthink it. Like 80% is certainly good enough, because the way that people analyze content these days, it's when I consult in town, one of the things I say to people is, what do you do? And they say, well, this is what I do. And it's boring. And I'm like, it's not boring, because people don't get a look behind the curtain like this so much, right? Like they don't get to see a haul-away dumpster, or they don't get to see sort of Caddy's a golf simulator. They don't get to see how a chicken is dropped into a fryer. Like these are new avenues that people are always curious about. Beyond just trying to overthink the content, though, like frequently being, it's Brandon's quote, and I steal it all the time. If you're not staying in front of somebody else is. I want you to think about that at home. If you're not staying in front of someone, somebody else is taking that time. And so that's a huge part of branding or building a brand, is like, if you're not going to be in front of them, whether it's a meaningless post or a meaningful, like you've put your entire entity or identity into this, reel or whatever it is, somebody else is going to take that time. So that's a huge part. Let's talk about you, Lauren. Okay, so you certainly lost your job in Austin. Okay, and now what, are you heading home? Like, where do you go from here?
Yeah. At that point, we had a wedding to plan.
You and Lee are getting married here. So he's like, baby, I love you. Come back home. I got a great idea about a golf simulator bar.
And these guys are starting a food truck. You got to try it.
Check out this, dude. The best food trucks here are not in Austin. It's in home. So
yeah, there was food trucks everywhere in Austin. So
we know about that.
I love that about you guys.
If you listen to one of our Lee's podcasts, so episode 13, he talks about how the influence of food trucks in Austin has influence why Caddy's has a food truck. It's still unbeknownst to me why the thing is inside it, but I respect it. Okay, it's a little bit of a nebulous thing having a food truck inside your bar that's immobile, but I kind of like the concept, the variety. But you're in Austin.
Move home.
You move home. Okay, so talk to us about that.
Actually, was when I was in college at the Lake campus, I was, a bartender. So I go back to that place and start working there. And one night when I was working up on the television, they were saying that the world was going to shut down and this COVID thing was happening. So
spoiler alert, it did shut down.
It didn't shut the bar down.
I don't want to spoil the end of the movie, but in 2020, they pretty much shut everything down.
Not in Mercer County or August County.
Did you get shut down at all? Because you were working at manufacturing.
No, we deemed essential because we made custom packaging So we would package all sorts of stuff in the medical field and stuff like that. So we worked 60%. We stayed open though.
So you stayed open. Did you have to, like, you had to follow all the protocols, and then did you get access to some of the funding that they had to?
Yeah. So actually it worked out good for us. Like it sucked because we had to go every morning and like had backpack like weed sprayers that we had to spray everything down with at manufacturing every morning. And then the people couldn't work more than 26 hours or 28 hours, whatever it was. And then they still got to apply for the unemployment benefit. So they actually made more money per week, and they only worked like 26 or 28 hours. So it actually was a home run for where I worked at the time.
That was such a Debbie Downer time. Like, I don't even want to bring it up. Like, if people are probably listening, like, yeah, dude, I wasn't even allowed to see my grandma. Like, I had to stay inside. Like, it sucked.
What about the $1,200 they gave us? Dude,
yeah,
it was great,
exactly.
dude.
Thanks, government. They're going to print a bajillion more right now, so don't worry. $1,200 will be worth about $400. So talk to me about, like, from the creator side, okay? Mm-hmm. That's what, in my opinion, separates creators. Like, some people shut down now. You've gone back to a bar. You're like, I had these really cool experiences in Austin, but, you know, others people say, I guess we'll figure it out. Like, where was your mentality at the time? You didn't give up, but you weren't doing anything currently, or where were you at? Like, take us through that.
Yeah, at that point, I still had the clothing line and wanted to really focus on that, but they were considered a non-essential business, so I couldn't get any more apparel. And that's when Leah was like, hey, let's just go buy that equipment and make the apparel ourselves.
Manufacturing, yeah.
We can do this. We love an engineer.
Yeah, so we found equipment, went out, got a U-Haul, brought it home, put it in my parents' basement, and just started screen printing. And it opened up a whole new business for us. And we, we're just in that time of life where we could go over there every night, screen print till 10 o'clock, and just do it over and over again. And it was then that we kind of started dreaming up, hey, this area is missing a lot of stuff that we loved about Austin. And that's kind of how Caddy's got.
Is being from a small town a disadvantage, or was it the exact edge that you needed?
I would say definitely the edge that I needed, because, the thing that I launched wasn't the greatest thing in the world, but just having the support from my family, friends, community, just gave me the confidence to say yes on the next thing and the next thing.
It's kind of what we feel about Two Dads, right, Bill?
Yeah, I think so. It's crazy to see the support we get each week. And, at first it starts, your friends and family, and then everybody likes that. Like, I thought that's how the podcast was going to go. Like, first starting it, I really thought there was going to be 30 people that listened to this, and it was going to be Haley and Tasha and a couple of our friends and families that were listening to it.
Watching the Mitch YouTube 20
video.
times.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly right.
Mitch is like, hey, turn that on while you're at work, and he just keeps playing loop.
Keep playing the loop.
No, it does. It shows the area that we're from is, and we say it every episode, is incredibly special. I've got a ton of people that have come to Caddy's and said, hey, have you been to Caddy's? I'm like, yeah, I've been to Caddy's like 9 times. Mitch, still to this day, has not been to Caddy's. Mm-mm. We're going to put this out there. Mm-hmm. So complete liability over there. But yeah, you started that, you launched that. How did you, because I was not too much older than you at that time, and I remember it, being in college and stuff, your almighty one brand. How did you market that? How did you get that out there? How did you grow that? Is that where the social media really started coming in to, promote your products?
Yeah, I would get my friends to wear the clothes. I knew a photographer, had them take pictures, just tried to, build that brand out on social media. And that's kind of where I fell in love with even like color schemes of the grid and how to get it out there, and how to talk to my audience and think about like who is my ideal customer.
That's a huge part, though. I want to ask you about that, because I want people to take away something here too. Like, your story is amazing. It's inspiring. I mean, this has been fun just to chat about it. But like, all right, I'm somebody sitting in the car right now. I've got this concept that I've been talking to my parents. I've been talking to my girlfriend or boyfriend. I've been just like mulling it over. Like, how did you get from the conception phase to like the doing phase? You know what I mean? Like, you knew all these people, and I'm sure you networked. I'm sure you did the work and stuff. But like, what was the real driver between, or what advice would you give somebody, being Lauren in that moment? Like, what advice would you give somebody who's kind of like on the cusp, or doesn't know enough people, or needs to kind of go that extra step? Like, what would you tell them?
I guess like thinking back to even when I started, like just getting in the game. Like, it's just fun, and you guys probably know that every day. Like, you just get up and you think of a new idea and you go tackle it and see what happens and then pivot and do the next thing and try to grow your revenue better. And it's,
what about failure though?
Failure definitely hits.
Did that stop you or did that help? Like, I think when I look at Mercer County though, genuinely, I think people are afraid to put themselves out there. I think maybe if you dig a little bit deeper, it's the fear of failure or feel like, oh, people are going to make fun of me. Like, oh, they're going to think this idea is stupid. How do you, like, sort of when you channel your creativity, your creationism, how do you get over that? Like, do you think about failure or, like, how do you approach that concept?
Yeah, I guess, I guess one way that, like, everything I create, like, with whatever business I have, like, an avatar, like, ideal customer in mind that I am trying to help. So with two dads, that's like the guy that wants some great chicken and talking with the dads. Like for Hot and Healthyish, that might be a mom that's had a couple kids and kind of lost herself a little bit and wants to feel good again. At Caddy's, I actually had the women in mind because like a lot of the golf simulator places at the time were very industrial looking, cold, like it was just a building that got transformed into a golf simulator place. So I was like, well, if the men are going to golf, the women are going to have to allow it. And why not have the best food for women for them to come enjoy while their man golfs? So every girl I feel like out there loves Mexican style food and margaritas. So that was like the inspiration for our menu there.
I mean, guilty. I'm a woman.
Yeah, me too. I mean, call me what. Let me ask you this, just as a quick follow up. Like, how do you balance? Like, you've moved to Mercer County. I mean, people are you get eyeballs. It just gets a little bit. It's just like you're a bigger fish of ideas in a smaller pond. Like, how do you balance creating something that's true to you versus what people expect from you? Like, is there any challenge there? Like, with whatever cuisine you're you're building into it, the food truck inside, bringing ideas from Austin back home. Like, did you feel any pressure of like, I have to stay true to myself, but at the same time, like, I do have to cater to this community, and then this is a weird crossover. Like, talk me through that process.
It is like kind of a challenge in the area because you want to bring that new thing. And one thing that came to mind at Caddy's is the little QR ordering codes on the table.
Oh, I bet that threw people for a tizzy. That probably threw them for a tizzy.
Elderly community is going to hate this.
Where's my bartender? I don't know.
Where's the white piece of paper that's 9 years old?
Yep.
My phone? You want me to use my phone and leave a tip?
And then getting them on the Wi-Fi. And
gosh.
Oh my gosh. But we have paper, we can serve them. But now me and Lee go to a restaurant and we're like, man, we could have left 30 minutes ago. We're waiting on the bill when it could have just been paid for through our phone. We could have put our order in right away. And that, over time, the area like will adapt to it or will change.
I think that's a great point. And it's something that we're doing at Two Dads constantly. There needs to be drivers of new ideas. And it could be somebody listening to a car right now. Like, the fear of failure shouldn't hold you back. And you have to understand that being an early adopter of something is not bad. I mean, it's scary. It's challenging. But at the same time, for the most part, the community will adapt. And we're seeing that at Two Dads Food Truck here. We're seeing it the way that we kind of do social media. I've had a lot of people say, like, well, you just did this skit for like Mariah Carey song. What does that have to do with and Bill, you saw it online too. What does a podcast have to do with a chicken tender?
Yeah.
One of the things that happens in Mercer County, okay, is that people they have a lot of family, right? Like, what's it like for the creators out there? You have a family, right? Mm-hmm. You're doing your thing. Bill has a family. I have a family too. Talk to me about the side. You've got babies, a growing family. You guys are building caddies, and you're still, working on Hot and Healthyish, coaching clients. Like, what advice can you give to somebody who's a creator that's sort of like, can you talk about that balance? Like, how do you balance it all? And specifically, like, how do you balance multiple jobs?
Yeah, it's definitely a challenge every day. I've tried now, like, batching things out. So I know, like, Tuesdays I'm doing this for caddies. When I'm feeding like my daughter, I'm editing my reel for Hot and Healthyish, and then when they go to bed, I'm posting it.
What do you think, Bill? So like, you've kind of come into this fold, right? Like you weren't exactly a creator coming this. You sort of like a manufacturing side that is interesting. How do you balance it out now? Because you're new to this scene, right? You've just kind of like I'm pulling you into it like at a 900 mile per hour pace, right? Like we're going 90,000 mile per hour right now. Well, how do you kind of find that balance too?
There's really no balance for me. I mean, it's morning up to morning down. Like truthfully, like, hey, then I just had a conversation about this last night. Like just like, hey, how things going? You know, the new job, the dumpsters, the food truck, the podcast, some R&D ideas that we were talking about yesterday that freaked her out a little bit.
Yeah, I'm sure.
So it's there's really no balance for me. It's just prioritization is probably the better way for me to put it. Because it's just sun up to sundown. It's work usually. But you're just prioritizing it, right? Like from 6 to 8, like I know I'm doing nothing work-wise. I'm just doing family time, right? Like that's Riker time, that's Haley time, unsolicited time. So you just need to know how to balance a little bit better and prioritize what's important. Like, I mean, I've been getting blown up this whole time from work stuff, but like this is the podcast time. I'll get to the work stuff after.
I am guilty of doing like a bad job. And I don't like to speak so poorly of myself. I don't think that's fair to my like mental well-being and giving myself grace and stuff like that. But I had a similar conversation too. That I'm doing too much, that I need to put the phone down, that I need to take a break from the digital side of it because it affects IRL relationships, right? Like Tasha's like basically
in real life.
Yeah, that's true. I'm used to this see how digified I am.
That was for the old people that don't like to use the scan codes.
But what I'm saying is like she brought up a really good point. She was like, sometimes you're on your phone too much. Sometimes you are like endlessly trying to think of the next idea that the creationism sort of works against you. It's a beautiful skill. And Lauren, you brought it up earlier. You're like, would you take it back? Like, would you change the skill? If you weren't blessed with this or could choose, like, would you take this creationism as would you keep it? And I think the answer is yes. Your time is a lot different. Can you talk about time as a creator and how you kind of see it differently now that you have kids and now that you have sort of multiple businesses to work on?
Yes. I think me and Lee's number one goal is just to be able to have that freedom to show up for our families when we want. And yeah, with my like background with sports, like you just like to show up and have, you know, the schedule handed to you. And people are having less time. Like I used to spend an hour in the gym at night and that was the funnest part of my day. But now I have 30 minutes and it's got to get done. So this thing is like hot and healthy-ish because I think a lot of women give themselves too much pressure too of like, I got to be perfect. Well, no, you don't. We really focus on like the 3 to 4 days during the week so that you can have fun during the weekends. And it really just helps them build their confidence back because you're going to be building your muscle back and putting good food into your body.
I think the one thing that comes to mind too is like, that's what Two Dads is about. You talk about mental health. That's a huge part of the underlying of the brand, whether it's goofy or not. Like I think men put too much pressure on themselves. And I think part of what you see in Two Dads is Bill and me putting our personalities into it.
I think there's a lot of pressure on social media just in general, right? I mean, like people want to talk about mental health issues and stuff, and we've talked strongly about how we want to support that as best we can. But I think being real and natural is really like the best way to do that, right? Like Mitch is weird. He's out there on the spectrum a little bit, right? I'm a little bit more down to earth, but, you know, I put myself out there a little bit more. You know, you guys do the same thing with Hot and Healthyish. It's just helping people find themselves, I think, is a big thing. And, you know, hopefully we're able to help people do whatever that is. But be yourself, you know, like it doesn't matter what you look like. It doesn't matter how much money you make. It doesn't matter what you do for a job. You guys are trying to provide a service that, you know, females can feel empowered by, you know, whether it's toning up, losing weight, or just doing a better lifestyle for themselves. And that'll help them at home too.
What do you say about authenticity? Because I'm a big believer. Like once I explored all the influencers and once I saw who could sell and beyond the merch and really the brands, authenticity for me as a concept, it really rang true whether you're doing social media or just good, honest business. Like, do you feel like authenticity was a way that you channeled yourself, or how does that resonate with Hot and Healthyish and Caddies? Like, does authenticity play a role?
Absolutely. And I have the luxury of having businesses that, you know, are centered around my life. Like I'm going to meal prep every week. So this is just like part of my business now. And then, hey, I want something fun to do on the weekends. We can go to Caddy's and have a nice, clean environment to have fun in. And then also like get a little bit of activity into, like, it's not just let's sit at a bar and look at each other. Like, you can play golf and walk around and whatever.
I think that reminds me exactly of like what Two Dads is. I'm sort of learning as I go. Like I said, Lauren, you inspire me as well, and I hope that we all inspire each other. But that's kind of Two Dads golf, isn't it? It's like Bill likes to golf.
It's trying to be. It's just one of those where I just gotta get better at being on the social media side. And
I don't think it's about getting better though. I think you're there. It's just sort of like we're dealing with the same issues that the creators who are listening to this are. Like, it's time. We are focused on Two Dads food. We are focused on Two Dads pod. Like, you only have so much time. It's the same attractiveness that Lauren's was like, hey, yo, like, I love these videos that just live forever. Well, the podcast lives forever whether we're taping or not, right? The other side is like, you can't do it all at once. We talked about that with Tim Goodwin. Like, you have to like relinquish that. And right now I just think I just wouldn't, I think one of the pieces of advice that comes to my mind here, just having that wisdom, is like, I wouldn't look at it, Bill Ray, as like, you're not doing enough. I wouldn't look at it as like, I'm not doing a good job. I don't think that's fair to yourself. I think right now you're just focused on something else and building that the right way and building a foundation. Two Dads golf will be much better because of the time that you put into Two Dads food.
Yeah, I mean, that's a better way to put it, obviously, and I mean, I appreciate that. It's just, yeah, you get stretched thin a little bit. You talk about it like we talked about it for the fair week. You know, we were getting the schedule ready for everybody working the fair.
Why did we talk about the fair?
And we're like, when the hell are we going to shoot the podcast, right? Like, it's literally Sunday through Saturday, and we tape on Tuesdays or Wednesdays, and we have zero time because guess when the best part that we usually tape around 6 o'clock, and that is prime fair day. So we got to figure something out there. So it's prioritizing your time. But we'll figure it out. I mean, it's going to be important.
Yeah. How do you know? So, you know, we're winding down this podcast. We're kind of hanging out. How do you know? I think one of the questions that I think people will have is like, how do you know when to evolve and when to double down? Because your life was a series of pivots, right? Pivot, pivot here, Sinclair, Lake Campus, Austin, couch, home, engagement. Hot and Healthyish is starting to kind of form away from your clothing brand. Now Caddy's. I think every mentor I've ever talked to says, be good at something. Do one thing really well. Bill Ray instilled that in me and reminds me of that every day. How do you as a creator, Lauren, know when to double down and when to evolve? Because I think that's something that people can have a key takeaway here.
Yeah, for sure. I think part of it has to do with just the seasons of the year. Like, you know, right now with summer, Caddy's is a little bit slower. Everybody's golfing outside. So I'm like doubling down on creating the content and the map of what Hot and Healthyish is. And then in the fall, we're going to be kicking back into Caddy's. And then hopefully at that point, like luckily I have 2 other girls with Hot and Healthyish. Like by then they'll be able to pick that up a little bit and roll with it. So luckily I'm surrounding myself with the right people that are catching on, knowing what we want out of them, and it's
you lead me so easy.
Far.
Like, you do such a good job of leading this. I mean, I'm sort of navigating as this like host. It's just like surrounding yourself with the right people. I think that's another key takeaway I have. Bill has been such an exceptional part of Two Dads. Like, I wouldn't be at this podcast certainly, but I also wouldn't be taking into considerations of how to run the business better, the books, like doing manufacturing events and things that we did today. Shout out to Salon Insurance, but like we're analyzing it at another level. And I think one of the key takeaways I want to make sure that we like kind of separate from the podcast is like a huge part of it is surround yourself with the right people. You have to surround yourself with people that ascend, because if you're not ascending to them, and Bill, we've talked about this many times, if you're the highest person in your peer group, and everybody looks to you to solve their issues and solve their problems, they're ascending to you and you have nowhere to go. So one of the big key takeaways as a creator that I want to give advice kind of personally is like, if you're not pushing yourself and surrounding yourself with people that are pushing you to do something, okay, great. And even if they don't push you to do something, if they're not supporting your idea, then it's probably not something that you want to put as much time into. I know it hurts because people in Mercer County have these friendships that are built since well, they've been my friends since the 3rd grade. Well, guess what? If you're a creator, if you're a business owner, or you're somebody that's trying to go to the next level, you may not know what it is, like Lauren going and lying on her resume to get out to Austin.
Tailored. She didn't lie. She tailored it.
She tailored it. That's right. It's sort of a tailoring. But what I'm saying is, if you start to wake up, I call it waking up. Whether you're 31, like when I woke up, or Lauren, much younger, woke up and said, "This, I don't know what this is, but I want to go toward it." There are levels to this. And one of the things that I want to remind people here as we try to be an inspiring podcast, as we try to have a takeaway that you can kind of enact in your life far after the podcast ends, is that there are levels to this stuff. And if you're not ascending to something, if you're not surrounding yourself with the right people, I think that is a key takeaway. And Bill, maybe you can talk about it real quick. I mean, you certainly sought us out, and you certainly, speak more about that.
Yeah, I mean, I just liked what you guys were doing. Obviously, I noticed, the business partner on the other side there wasn't there for a few events. We literally would come out. You guys were there Thursday, Friday, Saturday, boardwalk. We live right on the lake. It's easy to take the boat out Thursday or Friday, drive the boat over there, grab the food, just chill. Then all of a sudden, one dad's missing, and, it's like, hey, where's he at, blah, blah, blah. And, you're basically like, yeah, he no longer works here. Mm-hmm. And it's like, oh, all right, well, you kind of seem like a frazzled mess. I come
graceful, but yes.
Yeah, I mean, you did, but it's like, what can I help with? I don't know if that means putting hours in the truck, if that means ordering food, or if that means just running books. And you're like, I don't know, man. I just can't think right now. So you said, I'll reach out to you. So I reached out back to Mitch again and said, hey, and he's like, let's go grab a beer. We just sat there and talked, and we just kind of got to know each other, figured out what it was. Come home, and Haley's like, how'd that go? I have no idea what your intentions or plan are here. So she was a little worried, like, what are you doing here? Like,
just our next operation.
Yeah, that did freak her out a little too.
You're going to be gone every weekend.
Exactly. She's like, so what does this mean, right? And I said, we're not doing anything this year. This was like, July or August of last year. So we're not doing anything this year. We're going to wait till next year, figure it out. And then I just thought, like, you have something that most people in this area don't have, and I can fix what you don't have. Like, that's how I viewed it. Like, I can provide you a solution that your brain just can't wrap around, and I can't do what you did. You said it perfectly. It's yin and yang, and that's exactly what we need. It's a little bit different than what you guys do with Hot and Healthyish. I think you three girls are a little bit more aligned, but I'm sure everybody's got their own little lane, and that's important because if everybody's a point guard, it's not going to work, right? Someone's got to be the boring power forward that just rebounds the basketball, right?
Right.
You just have that,
Berkey.
Berkey's the power forward. Rich is the center. Mitch is the flashy point guard that likes to dribble between his legs before he gets it past half court.
True.
And I'm just that corner three guy. I'm the utility guy. But you got to have the balance, and you really got to like push into people and push them to excellence. And that's what Mitch does with me with social media. He's like, I need more Bill. 9 texts, more Bill, put a post. And you do that for me, and I'll text you back, and I'll be like, hey, where are we at on this? Where are we at on this? Where are we at on this? So really to wrap up that whole thought is the more people that you surround yourself that are winners, and you can define winning however you really want. Like, you can shape it anyway. The more winners, the more people that are going to push you to do well and aren't just complacent. We get through our bitch matches once in a while, and me and you do. But it's more just because, like, I see this, you see this.
We care.
Yeah, like you genuinely want this to be better, and we just don't agree on how to get there.
Yeah.
And then we're like, okay, I see your point. Let's kind of do this, right? Let's get through it. So it's been a wild ride, and it's probably the best random message I've ever sent a guy on Instagram, and it worked out.
Thanks, man. I think the one thing that my key takeaway is, and I still stand by it, like, I've been through the highs of having a partner and the lows of having a partner, and now the highs of having a partner again. And what I will say, and Lauren, I'll pick your brain on this too, whether it's Lee or the girls, like, I still stand by having a partner going into this is huge. One of the pieces of advice I'll say before I ask you the same question, Lauren, is like, having a partner to me is necessary. It is a yin and yang concept. One of the things that I would give a piece of advice is make sure you take the time before you jump into it. It's always exciting. And it's sort of like vacation friends. When you meet somebody that's at like an all-inclusive, let's say we're in Cancun or we're at some resort or, Costa Rica, whatever. It's always easy to see that version of them in the beginning. It really comes down to who's going to jump in the foxhole with you. Who is really going to absorb this? Who's going to bitch at you and fight and really tear each other apart and come back and say, Bill, I love you, dude. I'm sorry. Like, I'm an idiot. And you're like, dude, I'm not even mad. Like, it's all cool. Like, we're trying to get to the same thing. And so for me, partnership is completely necessary in business building. I wholeheartedly agree. If you're getting into this for the first time, like, consider a partner. Make sure they're the right one. And Lauren, I'll toss this to you. You've had a partner in Lee. who obviously believed in you while you were in Austin, and now you have a partner in Hot and Healthiest. What can you say about partnership as a whole to the girls and to Lee?
Yeah, I guess like me kind of being more of like the creator, fun, always coming up with the ideas. Like it's just so comforting to have your anchor. And like Lee is very operational, numbers guy. Like he can make something, but then it's like, I got to bring the people to it and like tell them about it. So I definitely would say I'm that in Hot and Healthyish too. Meg's kind of like, I do the meal plans. Meg and Janelle do the workouts. Janelle is like our tech whiz, we call her. Like she's working through all the back end stuff, onboarding people. Meg is helping us plan our in-person events and just anything, like any type of party, like she's doing that, and then I'm kind of doing like the social media part.
So it's a mix.
Shout out Meg Reineke though, former neighbor, lived right down the road.
Is that right? Keith Westrick right there too,
right next
as well.
door. I lived like 3 houses down from Meg growing up in Knoxville.
Well, let's wind this back down. So I have to ask you while you're here, what's one thing, if you could take everything that's from our conversation, whether it's consistency, whether it's how you approach a partner, whether it's how you approach failure, whether it's approach working for free and doing things that you love, or my favorite takeaway, just personally real quick, for those that are listening or watching on YouTube at Two Dads Pod, is frankly that you kind of picked a niche that was important to you. You said, well, I like to work out. Well, I like a margarita, and I like doing this thing. And so it's easy to go to work when you pick something that you truly love, because it makes waking up day after day so much easier. Because believe me, and if you hear one thing from this podcast, if you take one thing away, owning a business, starting creation, starting a brand, or just starting to market for yourself, you're going to get punched in the face every single day. That doesn't have to be exclusive to entrepreneurship. If you're starting something that you are trying to create a personal brand or a public brand or a professional brand, there's a lot of levels to this. You're going to get punched in the face every single day. So you better pick something that you're interested in. You better pick something that you're passionate about, because the place of love or adoration or comfort that will bring to you when you get up that day at 6. I got to get up tomorrow at 6 in the morning. I work today, 8 a.m. We go prep. We get the whole truck. We go to the Bill Montgomery spot at Salina Insurance. We do that from 11 to 2. I go back to RCS. I go finish work. I go do a reel. I go do this. I go prep for tomorrow. I go prep for our people that are going to do I got to do this podcast, and then I go tonight. I got to stream at Twitch. My day started at 8 in the morning, and it won't end until midnight. You better love what you do, and you better pick and think thoughtfully about what you do. My question to you, Lauren, as we wind this down, what's one thing you'd say to someone listening right now who knows they have something to build but haven't started yet?
I would say, like, the best part about it is just to get in the game. If you can't get that out of your head, there's a reason, and you should just start creating a vision board. And like for Caddies, like we planned the entire thing out and then started looking for like the people to help us put it into the world.
You find a bill.
Yeah.
One of my mentors said Tasha was interested in building a coffee shop.
Don't tell everybody this idea. This is a great idea. We might still do it.
No, I won't go to. She was interested in building a coffee shop. And I go to my mentor, who's in Cleveland. His name is Mel Kurtz. I've brought him up a couple times. He helped me kind of bridge the gap between leaving corporate and really jumping into something. I was working at Parker Hannifin at the time, and he was like, what are you doing? Okay. He sits down with Tasha, and in 5 minutes, he's got her picked apart, dead to rights. He goes, what do you want to do one day? She's like, well, I considered opening a coffee shop, right? He goes, okay. What are the color of the walls? And she's like, well, I was going to do like this blue kind of hue, and I wanted to really put pictures of my old... He's like, okay, great. What are you going to serve? She's like, well, I considered doing these smoothie things. My point being is she already has it planned out in her head. And now the only thing stopping her is either the fear of failure, not having the right partner, fear of consistency, not jotting it down on paper, creating a mood board, and then just doing. Because I'll tell you what, when Bill Ray came to the table, I realized we could scale. We could scale. And that fear of like, well, Bill, how are we going to get funding? Okay, we'll figure it out. We'll go to a bank. We'll go to private equity. We'll ask our friends and family. We'll crowdfund. I mean, there's so many opportunities that you have in front of you. I just ask that you don't stop. But the one thing that I want to say right now is it's time for our bonus game that happens every week. And you're a super fan, Lauren, so you know what that's about. Bill Ray will not be playing today, unfortunately. Wow. He's got the last 2 weeks. He's happy.
That's fair.
Lauren, I have to ask you, this is a new game show I just invented on the spot. Are you interested in playing? Because we have to have, due to legal agreements, we have to have your agreement.
Well, I can't be the first guest that doesn't play.
Could you imagine?
We're in.
That would be terrible.
Oh, what a statement. I'm good. Thanks.
I would have ended the podcast and just laughed. That would have been amazing. People in the car would be like, okay, all right, that's great. This one's called, Would You Stock It at Caddy's? One of the things that I know, because I talked to Lauren on the phone and we have good conversations prior to this, that Buc-ee's was a big part of Caddy's. Like, it's sort of like you were inspired by that brand and you kind of brought some of the elements to it. So this game's was, Would You Stock It at Caddy's? It's a variety game where I name you things that probably could be stocked at a Buc-ee's, but would you stock it at Caddy's? Are you interested? Are you ready to go?
Let's go.
Okay, I'm going to name these things rapid fire, and you're going to say, yes, I would stock it. No, I wouldn't.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
A hot and healthiest crossover game where Lauren decides if these items belong in the lounge or the shop, or should they be left on the Pinterest board on one of her little mood boards. Okay, ready? 30 seconds on the clock. Bill Ray, you're tracking it for me, okay? Here we go. A protein-packed soft pretzel with your choice of a green powder dip.
No.
Branded shaker cups that count your daily steps every time you take a sip.
No.
Sleeveless hoodies that say Hot Mom Energy on the back.
Yes.
A mini fridge prepped with overnight oats.
No.
Golf ball-shaped bath bombs.
Yes.
Wellness journals with a daily swing thought section.
Yes.
Collagen-boosted golf snacks called Snack 9.
Yeah.
An ice roller station next to the putting green.
No.
A self-help vending machine filled with paperback books, protein bars, and eye masks.
No.
A wall of rotating beef jerky flavors with Caddy's taste on the scorecards.
Absolutely.
All right, that's all the time we have for Lauren. Thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
This was very fun. Was it
so
everything you wanted?
Yes, it was a blast and just mad respect for you guys.
Mad respect for you
doing the
too.
right thing.
Make sure you check out Hot and Healthiest. Make sure you check out Caddy's. There's a lot of things that she has to offer, and I don't think her story's done yet. Bill Ray, what do you have to say before we go?
I'm just excited to see which episode has more views, and I think the golf ball bath bomb is a great idea.
Bill Ray, I'm OG Pickle. This is Lauren. Thank you guys for listening to Two Dads Podcast, episode number 23. We'll see you next week. Peace.